Hello everyone, it's been a while since I've talked and there's not much to say because everything's already in the videos. So anyway, but happy holidays. I hope everyone is enjoying the holiday, the 3 days off, and I hope that everyone is doing well. But anyway, I thought I might, here's something I can kind of clear up. Those of you that have been around know we have a person named Henri Jolicoeur that has made some rather ridiculous statements concerning this path, concerning me, concerning things that are going on. He has no clue. He's been down here once to do an interview. And he didn't like what he heard, and he's been on a rant since then. What can I say? Anyway, I wanted to clear up something in what he had said. What he was saying was he, in fact, had felt, and somebody told him that he had Kundalini opening because he felt what was really just a pranic surge twice. And his statement was, so I have a full open Kundalini and it's not enlightenment. I can tell you she's not enlightened because I felt it. Well, a pranic surge is not a Kundalini opening or awakening. Okay, and a pranic surge can happen for a number of reasons. So this is the problem with somebody with a little bit of knowledge and they think they know something, and obviously he's got somebody there telling him things that doesn't know what they're talking about to begin with. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, anybody that actually has a genuine Kundalini opening, which you didn't, you know, I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but no, you have not experienced Kundalini yet. Anyway. But even with a full-on Kundalini opening and beginning, you know, somebody that has Kundalini opening can feel it all the way from the bottom to the top without a problem. That can happen when it first initially opens. Okay, but it's not a quick surge and then it quits, and a quick surge and then it quits. No. You know, once it's activated, it's open 24/7. It's not a quick little surge. That's not a Kundalini opening or awakening. Anyway, so that's number one. You know, and just to hear him say that he experienced that and it's not by any means enlightenment. Well, of course not, fool. Just because one has the start of a Kundalini opening would not be enlightened. It has to totally complete. And just because you feel it from the bottom to the top, you felt something, does not mean it's completed. Oh my God, there's nothing worse than people that come in that think they know something about Kundalini and have absolutely no idea about it. Once it opens, it goes through all of the different chakras, and all of the chakras are related to different aspects of the subconscious mind. Okay, and you have to clear out all of that first. So if you think that you're going to feel a couple of little surges and that you're anywhere near anything, think again. You're in delusion. As in with a lot of delusion with a lot of other things. Oh my goodness. So anyway, yes, another point I would like to make, those of you that have looked at the videos, Jolicoeur and I are just about the same age. Now if you look at me and you look at him, who's the healthier person? You know, as far as he is saying I'm fat and I'm ugly, he may want to look in the mirror because I'm way more buff than he is. I'm much more healthier looking. My face is much more glowing, and no, I do not have any makeup on, no nothing. This is natural, okay? So he may want to take a quick look in the mirror before judging and speaking about somebody else's appearance. Now, as far as this, Sharon that he likes to use and throw out, there is an absolute point of disrespect. It's like going on the order of going to a nun, that's Sister Mary Margaret, and maybe her name in the past was Doris, and he's going to come, well, Doris this and Doris that. It's an absolute, you couldn't be any more rude. Okay, my name has not been Sharon for a lot of years. It was legally changed. Okay, so again, you don't know what you're talking about. Somebody that's absolute fool. So we will, leave that at that. Leave the fools to their own destruction and own idiocy. I wish that people, and that's the same thing, why they say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. They come out with a lot of ideas and things, and if again, the thing with vegetarianism is a recent thing in history. Really, the Hindus, to be a good Hindu, you had to eat meat long time ago. When it was actually the golden age of India, which has regressed and has gone right down the tubes. If you haven't noticed, this is not the golden enlightenment age of India. When you talk about the golden enlightened age of India, at that point they were eating meat. So you might want to do a little more research before you start talking a bunch of bogus things. Also, to say you can't be a Hindu and eat meat is again another 100% fallacy. There are a lot of different factions in India. They're all Hindu, and a lot of them in fact eat meat. Okay, there's a lot of very, very well-known places that sacrifice goats. And one person that came on one time and said they're going to out them because they're sacrificing goats. Well, this has been going on for centuries. There's nothing to out. Like it's some big, deep, dark secret, Anyway. So again, people get on this rant and they have to make everybody else wrong to make themselves right. Well, I'm glad, enjoy your vegetarianism. But you can't say that across the board for everyone. If somebody wants to be a vegetarian, go be a vegetarian. There are some medications a doctor can give for some people which would kill them, but would be very beneficial to another. Everybody is not the same. I've known a lot of people that were vegetarians that gave me a very, very bad time many years ago, and later they ran across me and they said, I had to quit being a vegetarian. They made a huge change in their life. Okay? Made a big change in their life and found out, in fact, that they did have to wind up eating some meat. Okay? The Dalai Lama eats meat. Most Tibetan monks eat meat. There's Buddhists that eat meat. There are Hindus that eat meat. Okay? If you want to know a really extreme, look at the Agoras. Not only do they eat meat, they eat human flesh. But that's another thing entirely. Their path, the Agoras, is to break through all of the preconditioned mindsets by doing all of the things that would be really repulsive to try to break through the mindsets that is popular within societal things, to really challenge it on the deepest level. Anyway, that's a whole other path. But again, there are so many different paths. And this one path is not for everyone. Just like I said, this path is most assuredly not for everyone. It's for very, very few out there. Very, very few are ready to walk a traditional path with a Kundalini, full-on Kundalini opening. I would not suggest it's for everyone. 100% not. It would be very, very, very dangerous for many, many people. When they say you can have madness and death with it, they're not kidding. Okay? You got to know how to transition through the mind, how to transition through the consciousness, how to go layer by layer and layer, and what to expect. You know, this is not a path that you can just pick up and lay down stuff. Like I said, one moment you may be in the body, the next moment you're out of the body. A lot of stuff, a lot of phenomena comes up in this. You see lights, you see visions, you have lots of things that happen. Okay? The energy, you feel like you're going to spontaneously combust. Okay? During part of my path, you could see lights coming out of the mouth, lights coming out of the head. This was with regular photography. This was not through Kirlian photography. This was through normal camera, normal photography. Okay, so those kinds of things can happen. And if you don't know what's happening when you get to the point where everything becomes extremely enhanced, and you can... At one point going into San Francisco, the buildings there are built on a roller system, and you feel like the building's swinging like this. I mean, you become very extremely open, and you can hear things that most people can't hear. So a lot of experiences happened, which is, you know, I'm not going to go through the myriad of experiences that take place. We'd be here for years to go through that. But again, you know, and it's not to get caught up. The first time that one goes into that really expanded awareness and they start reaching the heart center, they think they're finished. You think you're completed because it becomes overwhelmingly, you're in that love aspect. Everything is love. You know, and you think you're done. Well, you haven't hit the hard part yet, you know. Again, you haven't hit the hard part yet. So there are a lot of places on the path you can think you're done, but there's really much further to go. So, and again, you know, this is not something that one starts and they complete. You can't pencil this into your daily life. It's very, can be very, very challenging. You know, if you have an awakened Kundalini and you don't know what it is, and all of a sudden you're starting to have Kriyas, and you're starting to do yoga postures, and you're starting to do mudras, and they're just flowing like crazy, and you're not the one that's, you know, having to be taught it from anywhere. They're just there. You know, people go to Kundalini yoga classes and try to learn how to do these yoga moves. Well, if you have an awakened Kundalini, you'll go through a point in the journey where these moves just start going. So there's nothing that you learned. It comes absolutely spontaneously. Okay. Again, the mudras come spontaneously. Information can start to come to you. One part in the journey, anything you want to know in relative knowledge, you can know. Basically, it's that opens up to you. A lot of things can happen depending on where your focus is at. So it's an interesting journey. It's a long journey, but one of the most interesting things is when you get to the end of the journey and you've completed it and you've gone through that death before death and you've entered into that realm of stillness. The mind does not, you know, no matter what he wants to say, and he doesn't want to believe it, but still to this day There are no revolving thoughts here. That ended. He can call me a liar. He can call it bogus. He can call it whatever he wants. I don't give a rat's ass. Because the experience is the experience. There have been those that come around here, and when they get around the energy of me, then what happens? There's their mind stills. Okay? It happens. Okay? So people can come, and some people will have a direct experience of that. Again, I don't care how much you want to naysay it. It's a reality. It's not a reality for everyone. And those people that have not had that experience, of course, they're going to call you a liar. They're not going to believe it. It's not in their realm of experience. Okay? So, again, you know, there are a lot of things that one goes through. The Kundalini path is the mystic's path, you know, and it takes being willing to go within and to encounter all of the things, because all of the things that you hold are going to be challenged. All of your belief systems are going to be challenged. Everything you thought you knew is going to be blown out of the water. I guarantee it. So again, it's good to have somewhere where you can go where there are people that have been through it and that can give you a little support and saying, oh, this is this, okay. Oh, you're experiencing that. Okay, that has to do with this, because they've already experienced it themselves, and so therefore they can be there to give the support that's needed for your, you know, part of the journey. So, anyway. The books are still out. People are still buying the books. I still hear from people that say they're being helped immensely, you know, and so I just hope that everybody continues forward and they're doing well in their life, and that they're happy, and everybody is where they are at in the moment. What are you going to say? Just try to be present with what's going on, you know, that's all. And like I said, you know, please, people, don't come and ask me what to do with your lives, because everyone makes their own choices, and you're the one that has to live with your consequences of your actions, not me. All I can do is give advice. You can either take it or not, you know. So that's all any of us can do, is to give advice and to be here and to help make the way a little easier for the others. When I went through the journey, I made a promise to the universe, and I have kept that promise. Come hell or high water, and it doesn't matter how many naysayers, and I have had some really, really ugly people that I've had to deal with through the years, and I have kept my promise to the universe. Okay? That's that. And it doesn't matter how many naysayers are out there. It doesn't matter what they say. But the truth is the truth. They can call it a lie all they want. They can call it bogus all they want. But the truth is the truth. Okay? That's it. So I hope people, you know, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Prove me wrong. That's all. Take the journey. Find out for yourself. It's the only way you know anyway. Don't take my word for it. That's secondhand knowledge. You have to do the journey yourself to know. And how do you do that? Be still and know. Why do they say be still and know? When the mind is still, you think it's raging with thoughts? It's not. Be still and know. Okay. The path is a process of stilling. Okay. Now, don't freak out if you get in the path and the mind starts going faster. It will for a time. Absolutely. You know, it will for a number of years, most assuredly, you know. But eventually, one day, it runs out of steam and things slow down. You know, then you'll go in and out of more expanded consciousness. That will happen for a time. Then it will shift. You know, a lot of large shifts come along the way. Okay. Eventually, the Kriyas will end. Eventually, the Mudras will end. Eventually, all of that type of thing falls away. But the very last point of it can get pretty extreme, you know, and towards the very last part of the time when I was having the Kriyas and things, was almost throwing me around the room one night. I mean, the Kriyas were so strong. It was just crazy. And then all of a sudden, finally, they finished and blew out, and that was the end of that. No longer have them, okay? And once you're totally finished, you've gone through the death before death, and you've gone into that expanded awareness, and the world has deconstructed and fallen away, and you see that light and that life before life and the death of all death, and you enter into that is, you know, it takes a while from that point of time, because at that point of time, once you enter that is, I mean, again, there's another big, huge shift in consciousness, and the world will feel very expanded. Everything will be very awe-inspiring. You know, you look at a tree and you're in the tree. You're just, you know, you're part of all of life. You're one with it. There is no separation between anything. You know, you're in the essence of it. Okay? That essence is one. There's one singular essence of that life force that drives everything. Plant, animal, mineral, it doesn't matter, has the same life essence in it. It's not many different types of gods and essences. There is one. Single one. Okay. So once one is in that, you know, again, it's a huge leap of consciousness, conscious awareness. Okay. When things finally fall away, the moment it falls away, at that point, there can be really like hitting a brick wall. Why do I say that? Because it's something that one has, if you've been many lifetimes in the path, many, many lifetimes of searching, that's the end of the search. Well, now what? If all your lifetimes, many, 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 many lifetimes, you could have had 50, 100 lifetimes doing this search, working towards this of you know, pulling back the layers, pulling back the layers, pulling back the layers, pulling back the layers. Okay? Now when it's done, you know it's done. You know? Like my guru asked me, are you convinced of this? I said, no, I'm not convinced. To be convinced of something, there has to be doubt. And in this, there is no doubt. There is no room for any kind of doubt once everything has deconstructed, and there's simply that is, that being, that presence, that, you know, that which is, you can't even put it into words. There are no words in the language that can adequately describe what it is. That's why they say those that know do not speak, and those that speak do not know. Well, there really is no language that one can really say to really put it into into something that men's minds can understand. It's the best way I can say it. not a way to do that. But we do attempt to talk about it. When things fall away too, another thing that happens is it's really difficult to use the word I. It took a lot of years to be able to yet again use the word I, because that feels as if when one says that I, and it's a natural thing that happens, it's not something that one is trying to construct to sound elevated or sound something. It just happens. It just happens. Let me turn on the light here. Yeah, it's just something that takes place. There we go. That's a little better. Need a little bit of light here. It's getting rather dark. Anyway, that's something that happens. It was almost impossible for a good first couple years to do that. It took a lot of effort to get back into usual language and communicating with others. That was very difficult for a time. Okay. But eventually, you know, you've done the whole thing and you come full circle, and what's left is it just spits you back out into life. Okay? There's no more reason to have a lot of these things in place that one has along the way. You know, there are a lot of crutches we have along the way. You know, for a time one may be sadhu, one may wear a certain color clothing, one may be this, one may be that, and have a lot of props and a lot of things that they use, you know, and it can aid the journey, it can help them along the way. Oh, excuse me. Okay, there you go, Raji. You want to come up here? Okay. So, you know, those things come and go as one journeys through life and lifetimes, etc., etc., you know, but eventually these things all, you know, they're useful for a time, and then again they fall away. Okay? So that's part of the journey. But the end part of the journey, you know, is just to go back into life and enjoy it for what it is and what it's not. As long as we have a corporeal form, we're here. Okay, so there may be a time, you know, that one, you know, takes on celibacy and takes on, you know, a number of things, and it can be a great aid for part of the journey. Then you might get to another part of the journey and you find out it's no longer needed, whatever, you know. But this is, the point being, things shift as one goes through different junctions and different points in your journey. That's all. Okay. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and close out. And I hope that everyone is doing well. And it's been interesting. I'll just say that. I'm looking forward to retirement, though. That would be nice. So I'm glad that there's nothing more really to say. I haven't seen anything, new question come up from anyone that hasn't already been spoken about time and time again. So anyway, may everyone out there be well and continue forward. And I thank everyone that has tuned in and that has genuinely and been genuine while they have been here. So that's it. Bye, everyone.